Welcome to this webinar about the Midwest Food Community 2023 Early Findings Summary. I would like to acknowledge our funder Healthway and our project partners including WA Country Health Service, the Social Enterprise Wicked Lab, the Public Health Advocacy Institute and ECU, the Centre for People, Place and Planet. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which you are viewing this webinar. We recognise their continuing connection to the land and the beautiful ocean and thank them for protecting this country for thousands of generations. We respect all elders, past and present. Just as a refresher, our project aims to identify, map, evaluate and strengthen food security initiatives across the WA regions, and in particular, for this case, that's supporting food security action in the Midwest. Now I'm going to take you through some of our Midwest Food Community Project activities to date. And this includes the project launch, which we held in Geraldton and online in October of 2022. We then conducted 24 interviews capturing 24 initiatives with people running food security initiatives across the Midwest. We then returned to Geraldton in May of 2023 to hold our results sharing and action planning workshop, where we co-designed action plans with initiative leaders who had previously participated in an interview to further strengthen their work. And at our launch in 2022, we asked people what vision they had for a food secure Midwest region, and with those insights we created this graphic recording that you can see here to showcase the kind of themes people wanted to see. So they wanted to see things like community appropriate education, for example education on healthy foods specific to the community. Another theme was community partnership with industry, so having access to local growers and farmers. Another one was strengthening existing organisations, so for example community gardens owned and ran by the community for the community. And another theme was sustainable community food sources, such as free food stalls and honesty boxes. So this vision was based on the brainstorming activity at the launch, but it was also shared through social media sites in the Midwest region to get people's additions and feedback, and we also asked people to circulate it through their networks so that they could also contribute to this vision. Then during the interviews with initiative leaders, we also asked them about their vision for a food secure Midwest region, and some of their additions included increasing healthy food provision, affordability and access for all, supporting a local food system, so increasing food chain sustainability and reducing waste. Another one was increasing First Nations-led activities and increasing culturally appropriate healthy food provision and access. We also had increasing food knowledge, growing and preparation skills, as well as government support and funding for healthy food provision. Next up, I'll take you through a snapshot of our results that we have uncovered after our first round of interviews and action planning in the Midwest. So this includes we conducted 24 interviews and looked in depth at 24 initiatives focusing on food security. And when we asked initiative leaders who they were working in partnership with, we found that there were 60 partnering organisations. So when we interviewed people, we asked them things like who they work with and where they get their funding from, and this helps us to build a map or an understanding of the kinds of different organisations that are working to implement these initiatives. We also mapped the interviewed initiatives against the dimensions or aspects of food security, and some can cover multiple where relevant. So we found 10 that were focusing on food availability, 12 initiatives focusing on food access, 11 focusing on food utilisation, 1 focusing on the stability of those first 3 dimensions, 1 focusing on agency and 2 focusing on sustainability. So we do know that there are more than the 24 initiatives that we interviewed happening in the Midwest region, but this is just a snapshot of what's happening. This next image gives you a picture of the types of initiatives we interviewed. So there were 11 food literacy and health promotion initiatives, 7 emergency food relief and community programs, 3 networks and/or alliances, 2 farmers markets and food events, and 1 community garden. And of course, these types of initiatives are spread across various dimensions of food security, and some may cover multiple as well. For example, food access is covered by food relief and community programs, food utilisation is covered by food literacy and health promotion initiatives, and both the food access and availability dimensions are covered by community garden type initiatives as well. We've also mapped the interviewed initiatives across the lifespan to showcase where the focus areas of the interviewed initiatives are and where there are some space for opportunities. So as you can see, majority of the initiatives that we interviewed are focused on the school-aged children or adults, and they are less focused on early years, youth and senior or older adults. Then we've also shown this information in another way through a socio-ecological model, and this shows the different levels of intervention that these initiatives are focusing on. For example, at the individual level, they're focusing on knowledge, skills or attitudes of individual clients or people that they're working directly with. Then at an interpersonal level, these ones are focusing on relationships between family or social networks, or looking at the connections between different levels of social networks and partnerships. Then at an institutional level, these ones are often embedded within schools or other settings like workplaces, for example, or thinking about how they might be an emergency relief project that are focusing on supporting clients from within different institutions. Then at a community level, these ones focus on different partnerships between community organisations. And then we have the public policy level, so that can be, for example, a local government public health plan. So this gives us a little snapshot view of the kinds of focus areas that the initiatives in the Midwest region have. So there are more at that individual and institutional levels and fewer at the interpersonal, community and public policy levels. So as I mentioned earlier, during the interviews, we asked people who they work in partnership with, who their stakeholders are and where they get their funding from. And this helped us to build this partnership map, which we generated through the Wicked Lab software. So this map helps us to understand the kind of different organisations that are working in the space and how they potentially work together to implement initiatives. So in terms of these stakeholders, partnerships and collaborations, there were on average 2.6 partnering organisations per initiative, and the two main types of organisations were not-for-profits and state government. So that just shows the range of different types of collaborators that are working on food security in the Midwest region. Next, we have our Midwest Transition Card, or our Systems Change Map, which visualises how the Midwest food security system is contributing to 36 systems change characteristics across 9 different focus areas. So it shows the 24 initiatives that we interviewed down the left side here, and they're listed in terms of the name of the initiative. Then these columns are the 9 different focus areas that make up our framework, and you can find out more about that in some of our other webinars. Then the coloured tiles indicate whether the initiative possesses that focus area's characteristic. So each characteristic aligns with the question asked during the interview, and the same coloured tiles are all of the different characteristics for that one focus area. For example, the red tiles are the 8 characteristics under focus area 1. So if the tile is coloured, then the initiative possesses the characteristic, and if it's blank, they either responded no to our question or couldn't provide evidence as to how they possess the characteristic. So there's no right or wrong answer, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if they don't possess them. It just offers these windows of opportunities to strengthen different parts or aspects of that initiative through small tweaks or changes. Then you can see that we have these 3 red boxes. So they're the focus areas that have the most windows of opportunity. So focus area 3, 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 here were the different focus areas that we've identified to work on in our action planning workshop that we held in 2023. So focus area 3 is about identifying role models or change champions, or having common language or branding, logos or hashtags that really join people together in the change effort. Then focus areas 6 and 7 could be about bridging community programs to government strategic plans, and focus area 8 and 9 might be about how government can share information about food security initiatives that are happening in their region with their jurisdiction. So taking a bit of a closer look at those focus areas, we can see that 56% of interviewed initiatives possessed focus area 1, which is shake things up. 44% of the initiatives possessed focus area 2, amplify action. 53% of the initiatives possessed focus area 4, embed, watch and respond. And 39% of the interviewed initiatives possessed focus area 5, which is build collective knowledge. While under the focus areas to strengthen, we can see that 36% of interviewed initiatives possessed focus area 3, which is create identity and combine resources. 18% of initiatives possessed focus area 6, align government and community. 17% of initiatives possessed focus area 7, which is shape policies with community voices. And 26% of initiatives possessed focus area 8, tap into community know-how. And then 8% of initiatives possessed focus area 9, promote community initiatives. So this analysis is how we determine that these focus areas that you can see here had the most windows of opportunity, and we focused on strengthening those areas with initiative leaders during our action planning workshop. So in May of 2023, we returned to the region to hold the Midwest Food Community Results Sharing and Action Planning Workshop. And the workshop really aimed to share early findings of the project's 2023 cycle and co-design an action plan with each initiative leader to further strengthen their work. So these actions were realistic, small tweaks or value adds rather than whole initiative changes. So 7 people participated in action planning in person, online, or self-completed their action plans with the food community team's support, and these are collectively aiming to address systems change characteristics across the food security system in the Midwest. So during our action planning workshop in person and online, attendees contributed to a discussion about new food security initiatives needed in the region to better support food security systems change. So under food availability, there were ideas such as healthy food options at community sporting clubs. Under food access, we had the idea of a food cooperative. Under food utilisation, there was things like community kitchen and storage facilities. Under agency, we had a voice for Aboriginal people around community food security. And then under stability, there was the idea of food system education through the community gardens. So that brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you for watching. You can contact the food community team via our website, follow us on Facebook, or email us at foodcommunity@ecu.edu.au.